Oh my god, Woods, what happened to your face, man?
The numbers, Mason.
Welcome everyone, my name is Frank and welcome to another I am disappointed in Call of Duty Cold War. I'm sorry, it's just that recently Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War had a free-to-play weekend, and I actually take every chance I can to play a bit, see how the game has changed, if it has changed at all, try the new or slash old maps they have re-imported from Call of Duty 4 or Black Ops. And guess what? I was yet again disappointed. With that being said, it's not like the game is bad, but it just doesn't live up at all to Modern Warfare 2019. A lot of that has to do with, well, it's not even the same game engine, and it's definitely worse in general. So yeah, let's start with, the weapon customization, something that Modern Warfare actually made basically famous and mainstream, that you are now supposed to be able to customize your guns to the fullest extent possible. That means 5 attachment slots. Okay, but in Modern Warfare 2019, you could actually fit your guns just as you wanted. You had 5, you could not get more points by any means, and you just built whatever you thought was your playstyle. If you wanted to ADS fast as hell, you could do that. If you wanted slow but very low recoil, slow ADS, low recoil, you could do that. And you could do basically anything you wanted. You wanted a higher caliber, which causes more damage, lower fire rate, you could do that. You wanted a fully automatic gun or a burst gun, you could do that. And this is where it starts going downhill, because the weapon customization in Black Ops Cold War is almost pointless, because a lot of these things are completely useless and you don't need them at all. For example, I have never seen one single person using the barrel, which makes your gun do 200% vehicle damage. Why? Who would use this? And why? It's it's maybe it looked good on paper, as a developer you're looking like, oh, we have vehicles, we need something to do more damage against vehicles. But the thing is, the majority of the gameplay is infantry combat, it's not vehicles. And if you face a vehicle, you know what you do. Usually you have an anti-vehicle class with rocket launchers and stuff, so you just blow it up. You don't stand and fire with your primary on vehicles. Like, it barely happens. And the few times it does, it's actually because someone called in their chopper gunner. And then the first thing I said applies. You just take out the rocket launcher and shoot it down. So why? And this is not even the biggest problem, because a lot of the weapon classes, you basically use the same parts. If you had everything unlocked, fully maxed out, so you have all attachments in the game to all the guns. If you do assault rifles, most likely you're gonna use the same attachments on every single gun. And it's maybe you might do 1 or 2 attachments at most different. And the thing is, even if you do that, you can have a perk which causes you to have 8 weapon attachment slots, which I liked at first, but in reality, all it does is take away your strategic decisions, what you want on that gun. You can just say, I'll have everything. Thank you. Okay. So why wouldn't I do that? Like, and it's not even, you don't even get to pick among other top tier perks instead of that. So you just take that. Why wouldn't you do that? Yeah, anyway, but that's the first and biggest problem with the game. Another problem, too, is that a lot of the guns feel so much the same. It's actually insane how similar most guns feel, and the few guns in each class who sticks out are basically the best guns, and that's why you notice the difference between them. And when they buff and nerf guns, they basically destroy one gun and they make another one the best. And this balance has been in Call of Duty for a long time. Like in Modern Warfare 2019, they tried like nerfing the M4 constantly, and now I would say it's actually still one of the better guns, but it's actually more on par than the other guns, which with the other guns, I'm sorry. And it's like, why? What? How can you fuck this up so bad? And I'm starting to think that's a fundamental problem in the engine for Black Ops Cold War, that the guns just don't have any unique feeling to them. They even feel weaker, and I guess it makes sense because it was a long time before where Modern Warfare takes place, since it was the Cold War. But on the other hand, logically, they should have high recoil because the engineering at that time was not nearly as good as it is now. And it makes no sense to me why. But yeah, and some of the game modes are absolutely like, well, they're copy and paste basically. And then you have one more thing which I have to bring up because oh my god, I don't understand why. And it's just the interface, man. It's at first it looks basically copied from Modern Warfare 2019, but it's not. It's actually worse. I don't know how they could make some menus confusing, but they did. And after a while you get used to it, so it's not a super big deal. But at a start, it's actually terrible. Like, you expect a certain standard in a game series, and then they downgrade it so much that it gets confusing, and you're just like, excuse me? What? Yeah. Another point is the maps. The maps are actually, I would argue, on average, they're better than World War II. But that's because some of the maps, like Moscow, I actually really like Moscow. Uh, like, they are very good and they actually stand out from the rest. But the gaps between the good maps and the bad maps are huge. In World War II, every map felt the same. They just were so average that whatever. But here it's like you have actually gotten to the point where either a map is really good and fun to play, or it's shit. And it's, yeah, I think I actually prefer that though, to be honest. But it's still like you don't really, you shouldn't have just either super good or shit maps. Having one or two bad maps, that's fine, but in this case it's like 50-50. And yeah, it's some maps are just terrible. And yeah, uh, one of my favorite hate maps is Cartel. The reason why is because it's a huge clusterfuck of just everyone running around and running through grass, and it's a lot RNG. Who knows where everyone is? And basically, the first ones to get the kill streak, they won because there are not very many places to hide, so to say. So yeah, and then there's one more thing which I guess it might be very subjective, you know, but for me it feels like when I play this game, it feels soulless. It feels like it was a rushed Call of Duty product that they really needed out. They didn't really think some design decisions through, and the multiplayer component of the game is just a mess. And even reports like of the guns in like Cold War that they import to Warzone doesn't work properly because it's like they bug up because the engine isn't the same. And I so don't understand, man. I guess if you want proof that the game is kind of soulless, you could look to the movement. Things like leaning on objects, gone. Tactical sprinting, gone. And why? Why did you remove that? There is no reason to remove that. That was, even though the leaning, for example, leaning towards cover and actually getting a lower recoil, but you're stuck, it wasn't used super much, but it was something that you could do if you wanted to. Tactical sprinting, I use all the time in Modern Warfare 2019. I really do. So why did you remove it from Cold War? It makes no sense at all. But yeah, this was just meant to be a short rant. I hope you enjoy the footage, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree, and if you do, please hit me up in the comments, hit me up on Twitter. I'm happy to discuss. I do really think that a healthy discussion can learn. It teaches you stuff. It can help you learn, and see other points of view, or maybe things you didn't even notice. So yeah, with that being said, have a nice evening, everyone. And this was Frank, and I'm off.